Hi, this is Tammy with my Universal Design for Living for the interest area of music and movement. First, I'd like to review the principles, the 3 principles supporting UDL, Universal Design for Living, and how they would be used in the Music and Movement Center. First is the visual learning. We would have pictures and materials of various musical instruments and items for movement displayed around the room. Auditory learning would include using songs and instruments to reinforce concepts. Sensory learning would connect body movement and tactile elements to learning concepts. Comprehension would include verbal scaffolding, modeling, picture examples, and supporting children's ideas. Check for learning activities would be incorporated within the music and movement activities as they occurred. Principle 2 in Universal Design for Learning is to provide multiple means of action and expression. This would include freedom of learner choices, for they could choose their own materials and their creative ideas would be included. There would be no right way. We would celebrate each learner's exploration of music and movement. Provide a large space for unrestricted participation. Model various means to acquire learning concepts. Elicit ideas from learners. Provide materials for a wide array of physical abilities. Easy for impaired hands to hold, bright for impaired vision, loud for impaired hearing, and soft for sensory sensitive learners, for example. We would provide a variety of instruments and other materials to create sound, and provide a variety of materials to create movement. We would vary the activities in movement and musical instruments to emphasize learning concepts. And Principle 3 in Universal Design for Living is to provide multiple means of engagement. Again, the freedom of the learner choices would be included with materials and creative ideas. There would be no right way. We would celebrate each learner's exploration of music and movement. We would introduce learning concepts, progressively expand on them, and vary the methods of teaching through music and movement. We would encourage partnerships, such as hold hands with a partner and switch instruments. We'd also incorporate self-regulating objectives, such as stop, soft, fast, etc., within the music and movement activity, which helps with executive function in developing brains. Here's a video that we made showcasing how using movement it can be used in concept learning. Devin's idea was to hold the colored marker, and I allowed that. After Devin found the blue square, he said, "I want to be on red." I allowed that, not correcting him, because he had already identified where the blue was.
Share a purple. You can even hold hands when you're sharing it. Hold hands. Share a purple. There you go.
If you'll notice the 2 children that had a conflict over the purple square, when I introduced another concept to them that they could share the square by holding hands, it abated the conflict and they were able to move on. In this video, we explore music with multiple abilities.
So take an instrument that you want to use. So you
In this video example, this is encouraging partnerships.
Which one like you can't do it. That one is hard, isn't it? That's a
The children are looking at picture cards of body positions and trying to imitate them.
Stand on your square. Stand on your square. Let me hold your arm. Here, put your hand on me. Now pick one foot up. You can do it with a little bit of help. And you can hold it. Look what Devin's doing. He's holding his foot with the other hand. Can anybody else do that? Can you hold your hand? Can you hold your foot with your hand? This is hopping up and down on one foot. Hop up and down on one foot.
I can't do it.
Okay. Try it again. Try it again. Oh, Acadia said she'll balance you while you hop it.
So you'll notice that as soon as Devin said, "I can't do it," Acadia, who had just seen me assist him a few minutes earlier, came over to him and says, I'll help you, I'll hold your hand. That's how we encourage partnerships. It's easy to see how if there was a child in an inclusion class that needed extra assistance from a normally developing child, that this kind of activity would be good for that. A multiple means of expression. The scarf activity that I presented to them was for them to move the scarves according to the music, but they had other ideas.
Can I need this? Can I need this?
Do you want it tied to you? Okay, come over here, please. You want it to be like a tail?
Devin had told me he wanted a dinosaur tail.
And down low. Can you spin with your scarf? And then you put it on the left, and then on the right. Yes, Chloe? Yes. What would you like to do with your scarf? You want me this way?
So Kai's idea, when he kept saying, tie me up, was for him to have his scarf on him as a dog leash. All of these things were accepted in our expression of musical scarves. These are some of the visual displays that we could have in the music area. These are examples of people who don't have arms or hands still able to play musical instruments. Photographs of those with various abilities doing music and movement. Music and brain development. All early sounds, including music and rhythm, have a profound effect in shaping the brain. Using these in universal design for learning allows children at whatever level and ability they are to be able to make the most, to take in the information from music and movement to make the most for their particular growth. When music resonates with our body rhythms, it is powerful. It is a powerful influence on our alertness and our ability to learn. Most classical music is in tune with our body rhythms. Research suggests that listening to music during the first 3 years of life helps the brain form patterns that are essential to the learning process. The brain adapts easily during the early years, so a wide variety of music should be, and musical experiences should be introduced. No matter what developmental level a child is, using universal design for learning allows them to experience the development of music according to their level. They can either listen to the music or respond to the music with their body. They can move on to creating music, moving on to understanding music, moving on to possibly writing music and making up songs, which preschoolers love to do, and continuing on to play music. Using a child-centered music curriculum supports universal design of learning because it accepts and that all children have musical potential, that children bring unique interests and abilities to the music learning environment, that very young children can develop critical thinking skills through music activities. Children come to music experiences from diverse backgrounds, and in universal design for learning, all those backgrounds can be included. The children should experience exemplary musical sounds, activities, and materials. Other ways to incorporate universal design for learning in music and movement is to build up the materials by adding handles, buttons, and knobs for easier use, to stabilize the instruments to keep them from sliding or tipping, to simplify the activities by making the task easier or more obvious for the lower level learners, to contain it within a range or area to help the child understand where to be, to add sensory cues to make materials and toys more fun, to encourage cooperation so that everyone gets what they need, to present different instruments to the children and talk about their many attributes. How does the instrument sound? What material is it made of? How does it feel in your hand? Add sheet music to dramatic play so children can pretend to be playing in an orchestra. Include other props to encourage pretend play. Included in the references that I use for my presentation is a really wonderful video that I found on Edutopia called Music and Dance Drive Academic Achievement. I have the link on my discussion post so that you can view it. I highly recommend it. It's really fascinating about how they use music and dance to increase the learner's academic achievement. Thank you.